Today we are going to highlight Kaylee's hair using foils. We've done this several times through the years and it has turned out pretty well. To do this for yourself, you really just need a few things. You're going to need a bleaching kit. Kaylee, would you be so kind as to show them the bleach kit?
Guessing this.
The brand is not really that important. I tend to use the L'Oreal brand. I think it's a good quality and we like the smell of the conditioner, so thank you, Kaylee. Then we have a dish that we use with a brush. This is really, really important. Last night we couldn't find the brush, so we bought a little kit at Walmart which has a cape in it. I'll probably use the cape. The brush, maybe not, unless we can't find our favorite brush again. Thank you, Kaylee. You will also need clips to section the hair off. Thank you, Kaylee. Foil, ripped into strips, which Kaylee has taken the time to do ahead of time. Can you hold up a piece to kind of show them the size? Roughly. Obviously it doesn't have to be perfect. It could be smaller. Did it last night. Okay, that one I guess isn't acceptable.
They're not supposed to have holes.
They're not supposed to have holes. And last but not least, a rat tail comb. Very important. Okay, I'm going to set the camera up on my tripod and we'll get started. This is pretty simple, but you have to be very careful, and oh, you also will need a timer. So this is not something you want to try to do by yourself. I did it to myself one time and I'm pretty sure I gave myself a neck injury. Yeah. And you have to be able to work quickly. It's a little bit, you know, complicated. And if you can't see what you're doing, it makes it difficult. So we'll get started and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing while I'm going. So Kaylee is off in the bathroom straightening her hair because it is so curly. It's going to be difficult to get through it if she doesn't. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and mix the bleach. This kit comes with 3 steps, as do all bleach kits. It has the developer cream, the bleaching powder, and then the lightening cream. They may be called different things, but the components are really the same. The instructions in the kit will tell you to mix them in this bottle, but I'm going to go ahead and mix them into my container, which is a little bit difficult getting them out of the bottle and the containers, but I think it's much easier to blend them once they're in this bowl. Okay. I tend to not wear gloves whenever I do any other type of coloring, but bleach is really corrosive, so I will wear gloves for this. Kaylee, you're going to have to get used to your hair tickling your face. I know it stinks. I always try to leave a little bit of hair in the very front. So I'm going to use my rat tail comb and section off just a little bit so her natural color blends in. I'm going to try to stay out of your way so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to be much slower than a professional would be. It's not going to be as graceful. I'm going to get my piece of foil handy. And then I'm just going to take my comb and pull out some hair with the tail. I think we're going to do this a little chunkier. If we were going to try to make a really natural, delicately highlighted look, we probably would go smaller. But I think Kaylee's going to want some chunky highlights. So I'm going to pull that out, and then I'm going to take my comb, fold the foil over, so like so. Again, not graceful.
How chunky.
Taking my,
How chunky.
not too chunky, brush, dip it in the bleach solution, and I'm brushing it on. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the scalp for several reasons. We don't want Kaylee to look spotted, and the heat of her scalp is going to cause this to process at a much faster rate. Now, I don't know if you can see that Kaylee's already had her hair highlighted before, so I'm actually not going to take this all the way down. You can see where Kaylee's hair is bleached a little bit at the end. So I'm going to try to be really cool and professional here and do what I've seen my own hairstylist do, and that is just put the bleach down to that point. This is actually the first time I've done anything so professional. I'm going to leave that hanging out. So, I hope I don't regret this.
Hello?
Yeah. This is history being made right now.
Woman.
Right here. Pull the comb out. Fold it over. Like so. And we just keep folding. Kind of leave that tail out. And we're going to crimp it a little bit so it stays. Yeah. Okay. First one down. Now I've got a little bit of bleach on a piece of hair there, which is not a great thing. I'm just pulling on that a little bit. It's not a bad idea to keep a paper towel or something handy to wipe if you make a little mistake. And it's not a bad idea to have some clips handy for those types of mistakes. So, move on to the next section. If you can tip your head down just a bit, Kaylee, so they can see what we're doing. Now, you might wonder how heavy we're going to go. I'm going to try to section this off. It's really hard to do with these gloves. One thing I might suggest, maybe even try to get some gloves that fit a little better. Because these gloves are really huge and my fingers don't fit very well in them. So I'm going to take the chance that my hands are going to feel a little bleached and pull them off because I'm not able to go very fast with these things. So I might regret it later, but I want this video to be the best it can be. So again, I'm going to go kind of chunky here. Lay that down to the side. And if I think it's a little too much, I might go under and pull a little more down. toss that off to the side. Grab another piece of foil. Go through the same process all over again. Can't emphasize enough, amateur here. Definitely not a professional, and I'm working backwards because I'm trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing for the sake of the video. So don't judge. If I were to do it more often, I'm sure I would get better at it. But it's a good way to save some money. And if you're very careful, you can do a nice job. I'm just going to repeat this across the top of her head and do a few on the side. I will leave it on probably for about 50 to 60 minutes total because Kaylee's hair takes quite a while to lift. She is auburn naturally, so it goes through quite a bit of orangey phases to get to that light pale lemon yellow that she wants for the highlight. And I will probably put a bag over her head like a Dylan's bag and even do a little bit of heat to kind of help process it. I know it tickles. Sorry. And then we just repeat and repeat. I've put all the foils in that I'm going to now. I didn't go all the way to the end because Kaylee's hair was highlighted already. So I've got across the top and then a few going down the back, a few down each side. And because I'm slow and not a professional, I'm going to go ahead and use the hair dryer to warm up the back and the sides just to kind of speed it up. I'm sure that if I opened the front, we would see that the front is processing at a much faster rate, or it's further along, not at a faster rate. So at this point, I'm just going to warm up the back and the sides, and then I'm going to check it, and I suspect it'll be done. At this point, the front has been on for probably about 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and do that step, and then we'll check and see how it looks. So we're outside to kind of show what Kaylee's hair looks like in the natural light. It's a little bit redder than Kaylee had hoped for, but she is naturally a redhead, and we could have gone a little bit longer and let it get maybe like a more white blonde. I think it's nice. I think it looks pretty natural. I could have gone a little heavier maybe in the back. I see some spots where it could have been maybe more concentrated up here, and probably next time I will maybe do it a little more thickly in the back. But I think all in all it turned out pretty good, and you know, for the cost of under $10, I'd say that's a bargain, and it's something that you can do for someone else. You could do it for yourself if you're a contortionist, but not too bad, not too bad. So there you have it. Do-it-yourself foil highlights, or lowlights if you want to use a darker color. Look at the camera, Kaylee. Pretty.